All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're taking a deep look at the new unified OpenAI Codex. And let me tell you, this is not just another coding assistant. It's a full-on software engineering agent, and it's really designed to completely change the way you build software.
So how do we get to this point? This really isn't just some minor version update, it's a true evolution. If you think back not too long ago, you had two totally different ways to use Codex. There was the lightweight CLI for your local machine, and then there was a separate cloud agent you could use to ChatGPT. I mean, they were both powerful, yeah, but they were completely disconnected. Well, today, that's all in the past. We now have one single, unified agent that works everywhere you do.
So here's our game plan. We're going to start with what it actually means to have one agent everywhere. Then we'll get into a new mental model, a coder's toolkit for working with it. After that, we'll cover a really crucial mindset shift, learning to think like an architect. Then we'll see it all in action and wrap things up by looking at what this new developer workflow really means for you. Let's start with the big picture. The key idea here is that Codex now feels like one single product. Think about how you use GitHub. Whether you're on the website and the command line or on your phone, it's all just GitHub. It's a seamless experience. That is exactly the goal here.
And this unification comes packed with some seriously powerful new features. There's a brand new IDE extension that puts Codex right there beside your code. You get automatic AI-powered code reviews on GitHub. And get this, we're not just talking about static analysis. This thing actually runs the code to validate the changes. But my favorite feature has to be the local-to-cloud handoff. You can start something on your machine, send it to the cloud to finish, and just keep on working. And it all just connects through your existing ChatGPT account, which makes it super accessible.
So, to really get the most out of all this new power, you kind of need the right mental model. Let's break down how you should think about the whole Codex ecosystem. It really comes down to two key dimensions.
It really just boils down to two simple questions. Where do you work, and where does Codex work? So on one side, you have all your interfaces, your IDE, the command line, GitHub, the web, even the app on your phone. And on the other side, you have the environment where the work actually gets done. Codex can act like a pair programmer, working right there on your local machine, or you can delegate those bigger asynchronous tasks to a secure sandbox in the cloud. And this brings us to what might be the most important part of this whole thing. Using Codex effectively isn't just about learning a new tool. It's about a fundamental shift in how you think about your role as a developer.
Instead of being the one just typing every single line of code, you become the orchestrator. You're not just an individual contributor anymore. You're more like the engineering manager or the architect. You're thinking about the big picture, you're structuring the tasks, and then you're delegating the actual execution to your AI partner.
Okay, so that sounds great in theory, right? But how do you actually make that shift in your day-to-day work? Well, let's walk through 6 best practices that can help turn that architect thinking into real concrete actions.
First, structure your code to allow for parallel work. Monorepos are fantastic for this because they let Codex see how everything interacts. Second, and this one is huge, have solid tests in place. This lets Codex actually verify its own work. Third, for more complex jobs, have it create a plan.md file, which is basically a blueprint you can approve before it starts. You'll also want to enable automatic code review on GitHub. Remember to trigger tasks from anywhere, like your phone, whenever inspiration strikes. And finally, use an agents.md file to give Codex critical context about your repo's specific conventions.
Okay, that's enough theory. Let's see what this actually looks like in practice. We're going to use a real task from the open source Agents SDK. Okay, so here's the setup. We have this demo app, and all it can do is take a single, static photo from a webcam. Our goal is to make it capture images continuously, say at 1 frame per second. So we give Codex a simple prompt right inside the IDE. It immediately gets to work locally on our machine and starts modifying the React components to build out the new feature. And this is where the new workflow really starts to shine. While Codex is busy working on that local task, you're not just stuck waiting around. You can actually start working on something else in parallel. So while that first task is still running, we kick off a second, totally separate task and send it to the cloud. And what's amazing here is that it uses our current local state, so we don't even have to commit our changes first. Now, Codex is effectively working on both tasks at the same time. When the cloud task finishes, we get a pull request, and that automatic code review feature immediately kicks in to validate all the work. So what does all this mean when you put it together? This is not just some small incremental improvement. It really represents a completely new way of approaching software development. This shift is all about going from linear to parallel,
The old way was just grinding through one task at a time. The new way is all about parallel execution. Your backlog doesn't just keep growing, it starts shrinking, because you can kick off multiple tasks and move on. You go from being the sole contributor to being the architect who orchestrates all the work. And that costly context switching we all hate, it gets replaced by seamless asynchronous delegation.
Ultimately, this new workflow frees you up from all the endless maintenance and bug fixes, and it lets you focus on genuine innovation. So, we'll leave you with this final thought. When your AI partner is the one clearing the backlog, what will you finally have